Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. Today we are talking about Terrifier 3.
What's your favorite scary movie?
5 years after the events of Terrifier 2, Sienna and her brother are struggling to rebuild their lives. As Christmas approaches, Art the Clown returns to wreak havoc on both their family and the town. It's been pretty cool to see the Terrifier franchise evolve over the years the way that it has. From just seeing that every single film you can tell that they have a little bit more of a budget to work with, to being able to actually watch the films in theaters. The first one, I don't know if it did get like a theatrical release. I know I wasn't able to see it around me, so if it was very limited. Two, I was finally able to see that one, but even that one is still a little bit more limited. To now, with Terrifier 3, I have several options that I can actually pick from theaters to go to, which was really cool. And then you also have all the conventions that the Terrifier cast have been at too, that I've been at a number of horror cons around me over the past couple of years. And every time one of them's at one of these cons, at least around here, they always all have a pretty decent amount of people that show up for lines throughout the day. So it's just been really cool to see the evolution of this franchise. So like I said, Terrifier 3 picks up about 5 years after the events of Terrifier 2. You have Sienna, she's in a mental health facility before she ends up getting picked up by her aunt and uncle to come celebrate the holidays with them. And then you have Jonathan, who he's in college. He's trying to move on with his life, move on from the past. And shortly after that, unfortunately, Art the Clown comes back into the picture to wreak havoc on everybody, and this time he's got a little help from Vicky. First off, I'm going to say that I absolutely loved the look of this film. It just had a really cozy vibe to it, and I know that's kind of weird because it's Terrifier and people are getting hacked up every several minutes. So even though there's people getting, killed left and right, it's just the fact that it had a very vintage Christmas feel to it. It felt like something out of the 80s with just the bright lights, the music, and everything like that. So I felt cozy at times watching it, and then the next second you'd see, blood splattering everywhere. So the balance of that was done really well. And I'm a big holiday person. Pretty much once we hit, I watch horror movies and stuff like all year, but once we get to like August, September, that's officially, we're in spooky season pretty much there. And so anywhere from that time until the end of the year, that's just my favorite time of the year with all the different holidays. And so this, I think, will definitely be one that I will revisit as we get closer to Christmas as well. I will say that Gorehounds will definitely not be disappointed with the third entry in the Terrifier franchise, as it delivers, I would say, the most consistent, bloody, gory entry so far in the franchise. I don't know if anything necessarily tops the bedroom scene in the second film, although there is one that's pretty much like right there, at least for me. I don't know about you guys. But I would say that this movie, just on a consistent basis, and the levels of gore that you get almost with each kill and how creative they are, I would say this is definitely the bloodiest one, at least in my opinion. I will just say that this film is not afraid to go there. And you kind of, right from the get-go of this movie, you find that out, and it does that on several occasions. And so I could see for some people that there are certain instances that this might be just too much for them. And I do understand that. It's not necessarily going to be a film for everybody. It's definitely for the diehard, Terrifier fans out there, horror fans that love this stuff, I think will really appreciate it. But it's not going to be for everybody. I've already seen some critic reviews, bashing the film because of the gore and things like that, which I don't necessarily agree with. But I can understand it's not going to be a film for everyone. So just know that going into the movie. But like I said, if you've seen 1 and 2, I think that you know what to expect going into this film, and you're going to enjoy it because you get more of that here. And something that I do really appreciate, not only about this film, but with the franchise in general, is that no one truly feels safe. You really got that kind of with the first film, but even with part 2, and especially here, it honestly feels like anyone could be killed off at any time. And I just got to give, hats off to Damien and his crew, because it's not something that we necessarily get all the times with TV shows or movies in general. And so he does a good job of keeping the audience on their toes. And just something that I really appreciate. And this film also added a little bit more lore to the franchise overall. We kind of start to see what the end game is for Art and Vicky here. And I really appreciated that, getting to kind of expand on what we learned in part 2. There's still plenty of questions that you have, but they do add, some new stuff here that kind of adds onto the lore that we learned in the second film. So that, whenever a film can do that, especially a franchise, I always dig that. And we also get another amazing performance from Sienna in this film. With this movie, I think she has officially solidified herself as a modern scream queen. She's definitely one of my favorite scream queens of all time. And what a performance here. And early on, we see just how broken she is after the events of part 2, which honestly anyone would be, experiencing some of the shit that she went through in that film. And so she's broken, but at the same time, she's just as strong this time around. And honestly, I feel more determined than ever to take down Art and any of his other, minions working with him. So just a really good performance from Lauren. And the third act in the film is insane. And so this movie, it was so much fun getting to see this in theaters, just like it was with the second film, especially with a sold out crowd and just hearing everyone's comments and reactions as Art slashes his way through the holidays. So as far as the score goes, guys, I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to be adding it to my collection. If you are a fan of the Terrifier franchise, you definitely want to check this out. If you're a horror fan, if you're a Gore fan specifically, definitely give this one a watch. It's really cool to see the success that this film is having. It's projected to be #1 at the box office, which is pretty insane considering the first Joker film made, over $1 billion. So to see this indie horror film do that, it just shows how passionate horror fans are, especially, for this franchise in particular. So really cool to see that. Shout out to the team, the Terrifier team, the cast and crew. I've had a number of those, people on my channel. This year just alone, talked to Antonella Rose, who plays Gabby, Margaret and Florence, who plays Aunt Jess. You guys can find those videos on my channel. I'll put them at the end or in some of the, or in the description or even the cards when you guys are going through the video. And then make sure you guys subscribe because I got some more coming your way and you're really going to enjoy these. So make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to it. That way you get notifications for all my new videos. Give this video a thumbs up. And as always, guys, please make sure to check back for more Pop Culture with Pat.